everyone, welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Nina, and I know that many of you subscribe to this channel because you share the exact same struggle that I had for many, many years, which is being surrounded by way too much clutter and not feeling like we are in control of our homes and sometimes not even in control of our lives. And it's a huge focus of mine to try to help people who are experiencing this because I know exactly what it feels like. And it can be an incredibly overwhelming and distressing place to be. So this morning, I was talking to a client who told me that last week I shared something with her that ended up being the missing puzzle piece in her being able to find the motivation to finally start decluttering and cleaning up. And she insisted that I share it with all of you because she felt that a lot of other people could probably be helped by the same advice. And it has to do with the idea of decluttering for new beginnings. Now, I have found that many people who say that they have difficulty with decluttering and organizing also say that they are unhappy with their lives or that there are many aspects of their lives that they would like to change. And I do think there can be a strong correlation there because when we hold on to too many items, especially when these things have deep emotional connections, some of which are going to be negative, it can really prevent us from healing and from moving forward in our life. It can end up weighing us down both physically and mentally and affect many different aspects of our lives, a lot of which we probably aren't even aware of. So today I want to talk about how living a cluttered life can hold us back and how decluttering and getting organized can lead us to not only new beginnings, but also just to have a more fulfilling and enjoyable life. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, as I've said in many videos, clutter really is mentally draining and it has a very direct and negative impact on our mental health. It also really prevents us from making changes in our lives because we become too overwhelmed and too distracted to put energy into new things. In addition, it holds us back from pursuing our goals because it directly affects our self-esteem and our sense of self-efficacy. We can feel like a failure because we think that this is something that should be easy for us. And when it isn't easy for us, we can feel hopeless or like our life is out of control. Clutter also affects our relationships and our ability to connect with other people. But one of the biggest things, and I don't think that this is talked about nearly enough, is that clutter can start to affect our actual identity. We can start to think that this is just who I am. We can look around at our home and think that it's this big mirror of our entire lives. This can lead us to begin to ignore our thoughts and feelings because we can feel like they are too painful to address, and we can then become disconnected with our sense of self and our values. And when this happens, oftentimes we start clinging to the past, even when that past wasn't happy or positive. So clutter really does keep us stuck, and all of this can lead to feelings of isolation, loneliness, and helplessness, and fill us with all kinds of negative emotions from embarrassment to shame. And this really is a recipe for disaster because when we are experiencing all these genuinely distressing things, of course we're not going to feel like we can move forward in life or that there's hope for new beginnings, and it becomes this horrible, vicious cycle. But here's the thing, when we feel this way, taking even the smallest step forward can completely change everything. Decluttering one box or even just cleaning the sink can lead to monumental change, not only in our home, but also mentally. When we take even that tiny step in the direction that we want to go in, we start to build momentum and it motivates us to take other steps in our life. It helps us to overcome fear and self-doubt, and it reminds us that we are in control of our life. But most significantly, it gives us hope and it proves that change is possible, all change. So in a very real sense, decluttering does lead to new beginnings. So how exactly does it do this? Well, firstly, it clears up both mental and physical space, which is exactly what we need if we want to make changes in our life. When we are constantly surrounded by all of this clutter, it makes it difficult for us to relax or to focus on the things that are actually important to us. Decluttering can help us get rid of the things that are standing in our way and that are distracting us from being able to move forward in our lives so that we can finally focus on our goals and dreams and make the changes that deep down we know we want to make. Secondly, it really does help us to let go of the past. So often, much more often than we realize, our clutter is actually associated with negative memories and experiences. And when we finally declutter, we can start to let go of these painful associations and give ourselves the fresh start that we deserve. It can really feel impossible to move forward in our life when we are constantly surrounded by all of these artifacts that represent an old, outdated version of ourselves, or worse, remind us of a painful or upsetting time in our life. Getting these items out of our home can be incredibly symbolic and also incredibly freeing. The third thing is that it helps us to create a more organized and more efficient space. When our home or our office is actually organized, we are able to find the things that we need and we're able to get a lot more done. This leads to a huge reduction in stress and a big increase in our productivity. And studies really show that when we do have a nice clean space, we start to do more of the things that we really want to do, like writing that book or taking that class or finding a job that actually makes us happy. When we feel comfortable in our environment, we feel empowered, and it actually inspires us and motivates us. And lastly, it can help us to become more mindful. When we are decluttering, we have to make all these decisions about what we want to keep and what we want to get rid of. And this process can help us become more aware of our priorities and our values and help us to get to know ourselves on a deeper level. And this in turn can help us to better understand what direction we need to be moving in. Something else that I see a lot is that when people declutter, they're able to create space for a new hobby or something else that brings them joy. So for example, maybe they clear out a spare bedroom and they're able to create a home office or a yoga studio. And changes like these just make our lives so much more fulfilling. And change in general is so essential for us being able to grow and evolve. But overall, decluttering is just such a powerful way to start to create new beginnings in our life. By letting go of the past and creating room for the new, we are able to live a much more efficient, organized, and much more meaningful life. And if this is something that you struggle with, as I did for many, many years of my life, I do have an entire playlist on this topic that I will link down in the description box below so you have that resource. It has over 40 videos on this topic designed to support you in your decluttering journey. And so that is something that I definitely recommend checking out. As always, I truly hope you found today's video to be helpful. If you did, please like it, share it, and definitely become a subscriber if you aren't one already. I would absolutely love it if you stayed connected. I want to thank you so much for spending time with me today, and I hope the rest of your day is extraordinary.